gentlemen, thank you for remaining with us. My name is Anthony Sebale, and I'm your host for Financial Markets. Now, we're still talking about crypto, and I'm with two interesting gentlemen, Joshua Kingdom and now Mr. Victor Ntabuga, who is also a law student at Makerere University, but with a special enthusiasm for cryptocurrency and financial technologies. You're most welcome, Mr. Victor.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah. Now, let's start with, first of all, we've been talking during the break about the law and cryptocurrency, but you mentioned something to do with the context under which the law applies. You actually mentioned a very interesting thing about the fact that if people don't steal, probably we don't need the law against theft. If people are not probably murdering, we don't need the law about murder. So in what context does the law come into crypto?
Okay, so just like you've mentioned, the law really does not operate in a vacuum, okay? The law operates because there's a demand for it. There's the need for the law to operate. So for instance, right now we are crying that we need a law on cryptocurrencies because probably people have lost some bit of funds, people have transacted and maybe they've not been successful and things like that. That's why we need a law. But then, in as far as context is concerned, you see, cryptocurrencies come 2008. 2008, we are facing what we call the great financial crisis. Okay, so people are looking out for an alternative. What probably we need to as well mention is that cryptocurrencies, in as far as money and currency is concerned, we need what we call trust. Okay, so that brings us to the context actually in which the law operates and what are we trying to regulate. Okay, so when you come to crypto, we are saying the people who are calling for regulation, for instance, are saying that yes, we're having cryptocurrencies, they're available on the market, people are using them. And in the beginning, in 2008, it used to be like a game. Okay, people are basically trading mining of Bitcoin was very easy, but now it has actually become harder because there's a lot of people onto that financial space. So for instance, as of 2021 November, almost $3 trillion okay, had been issued within that stateless cryptocurrency, whatever, compared to 2 billion in 2016. So again, as far as context is concerned, we are seeing that this is all money that is unregulated. $3 trillion is quite a lot of money, okay, for governments to just sit there and say, okay, here, look here, we cannot regulate, or there's no law. So that is really the context. That in 2008, we're having a financial crisis. People have lost trust in the currency issued by states and by banks. And when this one comes aboard, people are saying, okay, yes, let us use this one, and then you see where it ends. So when it actually gets that sort of legitimacy, that sort of acceptance, and we are seeing that, $3 trillion within the market, then the government says, okay, look here, we need to regulate this space. Yeah.
So, of course, central banks around the world, as we have talked about with Joshua, have been sort of fighting, yes? And you said, of course, the enthusiasts have been pushing for it, saying, hey, guys, I started with this amount of money, and over a year, I've made $1 million on just trading with crypto. Now, why do you think these two antagonistic sides are fighting? The central bank is trying to fight this cryptocurrency, and these guys who are enthusiasts are saying, actually, this thing works and makes money. Why do you think so?
Okay, so there are two answers to that question. The first one is principle-based. Okay, we are looking at a decentralized system of transactions, whereas the central banks use what we call a centralized system of transactions. So for instance, let's say you have a crypto wallet at the moment, and I have a crypto wallet at the moment, I can easily just send you money and it will reflect on your account, on your wallet. And when you come to centralized systems, this is how it operates, okay? There's what we call an intermediary, or what we call a financial institution, somewhere within. Let's take an instance of mobile money. Some people actually think that mobile money, there's no financial intermediary in between because they see money has left the phone and has gone to this phone, and they think that there is no intermediary. But this is how it actually works. In the beginning, before the Bank of Uganda started regulating, we used to have partnerships between a mobile money operator such as MTN with a financial institution such as, let's say, Stanbic Bank. And all they would do is, whenever the money leaves, so they would issue float. Okay? So the float here is the same float the other side, only that when when you make an addition there, the float here reduces and that one increases. And
yes.
then you exchange the money. But actually behind the money passes through a certain escrow account behind in a financial institution. Now, why is that institution in the middle there? Okay, there are very many justifications. First is that the state needs to have a sounding monetary system where it regulates the amount of money within the system, regulates who uses this money. And as far as anti-money laundering laws are concerned, for instance, we need to understand how much is Victor using on his account, how much does he get, how much does he spend. And for instance, if at all we get spending expenditure patterns that are irregular, for instance, then FIA, the Financial Institutions Authority, will come and say, no, come on, how can you receive, for instance, $1 million US onto your account yet you've never exceeded 10 million? Okay, so there's that bit of, the state always wants to see how someone is actually using their money. And they need to have some bit of a hand in as far as the monetary policies are concerned. So that is why there's that bit of cohesion. One is centralized, one is decentralized. When we go to the decentralized system, the state loses that touch over the money. Okay, so the other one is not principle-based, but really for context. When the motor vehicle was invented, we had the regulation at the time was that you would not drive 1 meter. I think it used to drive 1 meter per, I think a few minutes, 1 meter, let's say, for rather 1 kilometer for a few hours, okay? And we used to have a flagman in front of the vehicle walking with a flag telling people, get out of the way, there's a very dangerous machine coming around, okay? Get out of it, it's a very dangerous vehicle. But right now we're actually driving over 360 kilometers per hour, okay? So it's really principle-based. Some people are really conservative. They think that there's no way we can incorporate a new venture within the space. But like the people who regulated the motor vehicles, those people who used to own horses, right now, I think owning a horse is a luxury, for instance. So it's no longer an essential. But right now, a vehicle is an essential. So really, the other explanation really is much more of, you have a conservative vis-a-vis a progressive agenda. So the people that deal with money, for instance, forex, people dealing with central banks all over the world, do not seem to want to appreciate what comes with this other space. And yet, actually, there are very, very many advantages and things that we can take out.
Yeah, talking about money laundering in particular, yes, governments have said that crypto can be used for money laundering, definitely, because no one will ever monitor how much money you have, right? Money is, decentralized, it's on a certain ledger somewhere, and you're carrying out transactions of millions of money, which no one knows where you got and no one cares. Don't you think cryptocurrency exacerbates these problems governments are already facing, such as money laundering and embezzlement?
Well, I would like to differ from your point of view in as far as that is concerned. So let's first understand what is crypto. Like Joshua mentioned here, crypto is a peer-to-peer transaction. Okay, but in between there, when we kick out the central bank, we decentralize the system. So we have a cryptographic calculation of, for instance, what we call a blockchain. Okay, now blockchain is, when you use that word, it seems like a very, very big scientific word, but it's actually a book of records, just that it is on the cyberspace. It's just a small, it's just put a paper here and make sure that when Anthony transacts with Kingdom, we say this is what he has transacted. When Victor transacts with Anthony, we say this is what he has transacted. The only difference is that we don't see the normal identities of Victor, and what we see is a public key. But one thing that you should be sure about is that a transaction that was made in 2010 on the blockchain of Bitcoin right now is inexistent. Those records will never be trashed away. They are there. All you need to know is that, Mr. Anthony, we know your public key. This is the public key. We can easily trace your financial system and how you've been transacting. So it does not really, what Bitcoin actually gives is what we call pseudo-anonymity. It is not total anonymity. Okay? And actually, arguments have been made that crypto is one of the best accountability mechanisms. Okay? So, for instance, right now we cannot audit how much money, for instance, MTN has made in as far as mobile money is concerned, unless we go to Bank of Uganda, and we could be pretty sure that probably they also do not know how much they've made. Okay, but if we go to Bitcoin, for instance, or any crypto, Ethereum or any other altcoins, you will find like I said, it's a book of records. You'll find a list of transactions accessible by everyone on the blockchain. Every single person. That's why it is decentralized. Every single person will get to see. So the accountability, instead of us here saying, okay, come on, why does this person have this much money? Or for instance, we are saying this money came into the country to finance, let's say, a bombing, okay? And we are wondering, where did this money pass? All we need to know is, if we say Victor is a suspect for having laundered money, then all we need to do is make sure that they surrender their public key, and then we'll see the transactions that they've made.
Talking about transactions with cryptocurrency, we had an argument with Joshua that can you transact actually from one coin to another using the coin you have? Also, you would also love to know the liquidity of this cryptocurrency, given the fact that now, for example, people in Uganda and African countries, they may not have cryptocurrency everywhere being used. But how liquid is it, and what does it take for cryptocurrency to be liquid? Okay, so previously what we've been doing prior to what Bank of Uganda actually did a few weeks ago was that we have what we call cryptocurrency exchanges. We have a few of them on the market in Uganda. We have Binance, we have Crypto Savannah, we have Yellow Card on the market. So these are cryptocurrency exchanges that facilitate what we call conversion. Okay, so you can convert any single currency, any single state-backed currency like a shilling, to a stateless cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. But as well, you can as well also convert Bitcoin to Ethereum on the blockchain exchange. Okay, so it's actually that easy. The way we have forex exchanges, we also have cryptocurrency exchanges. Well, they do operate at a fee, but yeah, that is, at least they provide the service and they make sure that conversion is it's very easy. And we are also in a world of technology. So back then, a few years ago, when you wanted to exchange shillings to dollars, for instance, you'd go to a forex bureau, okay, and issue in your dollars, and then you get an exchange. But right now, you will have most of these cryptocurrency exchanges. They have a website or they have an app. Okay, all you do is it's very simple. Okay, it's very simple. Well, the question as to whether they can be used in a country like ours, well, that could arise because the smartphone penetration at the moment is still a bit low, and the internet coverage itself is a bit low. But then that does not necessarily mean that you cannot, they're not viable options in as far as exchanges and storing of value are concerned. But what you also need to understand is that crypto is a full ecosystem. Okay, so for instance, there's a case of a certain Indian who got a loan in cryptocurrency and put an asset, an NFT asset. Okay, so when you look at both, you look at the entire transaction, there is no intrinsic value-based asset, for instance, land or a vehicle or anything like that in the common traditional way. But a transaction happened. Someone got a loan, someone put an asset, and the moment they do not pay back the loan, foreclosure will happen. That asset will be taken away. Yeah. So it's a full ecosystem. All these things are possible. They work together.
They work together. You don't need to. You don't. Yes, you can stake a land title. Probably, maybe it's possible, but I mean, you don't need to. There are various. It's a full ecosystem where you can use most of these. Where you can make most of these transactions. You want to sell and buy, it's there. You want to store value, it's there. You're saying crypto, rather Bitcoin fell to 17. Some people actually, this is the time they're buying. Yeah. Yes. You buy and hold until it rises. When it rises, it's a store of value. You can sell.
Matter of fact, those who bought on Saturday now are selling at an interest of about 33,000.
Yeah. So it's basically that.
Yeah. Now, let's coming back to Uganda. On 29th of April, Mr. Andrew Kawere, who is the National Payment Systems Director from Bank of Uganda, they issued a circular, which it seemed formal, but didn't quite, it didn't go out so much in media, but it said that Bank of Uganda has banned cryptocurrency transactions via mobile money. It didn't ban cryptocurrency, yes? It said they banned cryptocurrency transactions to mobile money, saying that it's not in line with the law. What was your opinion on that? What was your reaction when you saw that?
Well, like I said, the law operates in society, and there's just what we call, you see in law, you start with, you create a law, okay? You put the law in process and you implement the law. I can assure you that very morning when they issued out a circular, someone somewhere converted mobile money into crypto. The question is implementation possible? But later on, a few days later, we probably see why they issued that ban. Okay, of course we're already in a ban since 2018. Bank of Uganda has Section 20 of the Bank of Uganda Act states that only Bank of Uganda will state what currency is supposed to be used in a country. So back then in 2018, they had already banned cryptocurrencies in the country. So even right now we're operating in what we call a total ban. No regulation, what we call a total ban. No adoption has been made. Some countries have, some countries like El Salvador adopted, Bitcoin as their legal tender. That is adoption. Okay, some are regulating. Okay, and some are in a total ban. Uganda as well. But my personal opinion really is should this be the time when we are trying to run away from what crypto is? Or it should be a time when we can actually embrace it. Now, a few days later, they issued us another circular to the Blockchain Association of Uganda, and they stated that the Bank of Uganda is willing to allow cryptocurrency as a fintech within what we call the regulatory sandbox. Now, that is a creature of Section 16 of the National Payment Systems Act. What that does really is, we are saying, okay, fine, you have a fintech, bring it to Bank of Uganda, let us operationalize it in a limited regulated capacity. So for instance, we are saying, let's have this amount of users on your fintech, let us see how it operates. Now, we are looking, Bank of Uganda, of course, is looking for, it's a principle-based issue, really. It's looking for what we call consumer protection, financial inclusion, okay? So the question is, does your fintech, for example, do we have enough bootstrapped features that can guarantee consumer protection, okay? Which goes back to the question asked in the beginning. If I lose money, is that it? Okay? So, of course, when Crane Bank was getting liquidated, very many depositors were saying, come on, we were told that our deposits are protected under what we call the Deposit Protection Fund. Okay? And before you start a bank in Uganda, you must have what we call, it's a capital requirement, which is about 25 billion Uganda shillings. Now that capital requirement really is to make sure that once you do your capitalistic tendencies of loaning and saving and getting money, and finally your bank gets liquidated, that money, Bank of Uganda will use it to pay off the creditors, because we don't do business in vain. So the creditors will get paid, your assets will get liquidated to be used to pay the creditors, and then later on we see also the Deposit Protection Fund also helping a few depositors, so that at the end of it all, it's not in vain. Okay? So it's the same thing here. Bank of Uganda is saying, bring the fintech, let us see how we can use it. Can we guarantee consumer protection? Okay? So which gets us back to now the ecosystem. So when you go to the crypto space, some cryptocurrencies are proof of stake calculation. Some are proof of work calculation. Now, when you're talking about Luna recently, the fall of Luna, it was a miscalculation. Okay, so you have a cryptocurrency which has a token, okay, and which has a backing. So yes, the way it was made was that the token would be able to make sure that the currency is not that volatile. The token was pegged $1 to $1. That means that it followed the dollar rate. Okay, so what happened was, now you could actually exchange the token with a currency one-on-one. Okay, so you could exchange, actually you could get a profit of a bit, I think 10%. So what happened? What would happen to check volatility in as far as, for instance, what is happening to Bitcoin right now? It's falling down. So here, whenever people would feel like the currency is actually getting volatile, they would exchange the currency with the token at a profit. That means that there was an incentive for very many people. Whenever they felt like the currency is actually going down, they would exchange it to the token, and then the token would get up and then stabilize the system. Okay, but in the middle there, what happened actually was that a few miscalculations were made, and the ecosystem ended up banning more tokens than the currency. That means that the token which was pegged to the dollar got depegged to $1 to now 35 cents in a few months, and then eventually it fell down. But then we are talking about a company that had actually started in 2018, but had gotten that much value. Okay, that means that actually what they was selling to the people, as far as the volatility crisis is concerned, was actually the people bought it. Okay, so while some are proof of stake, some are proof of work. For instance, Bitcoin is a proof of work. It's really demand and supply. That is it. Whereas these other altcoins, they come in to check some. For instance, Luna was saying that for them they were made to create what we call a peer-to-peer transaction. That is not volatile. So that's why they tried to solve the volatility issue. Okay. Whereas they left now the other issues such as store of value and units of account, best whatever. So that is it.
Yeah. Still, the data protection we are talking about, as you mentioned before, that when you carry out a transaction in cryptocurrency, everyone on the ledger will see that, hey, there's a transaction here, and if at all that transaction has not been legitimate, everyone will still see that. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Now, how secure is data on the cryptocurrency platform? Because as I know, when you're going to open a bank account, you take your details, you take your national ID, they take all those things. But we don't know much about what crypto, how much crypto requires, how much personal information goes out there. How secure is this information?
Okay, so I'll answer it in two ways. I'll first look at what did Bitcoin solve in 2008 and 9, and what is the alternative.
Yes.
Okay, so this part of the solution was that they needed to solve a data privacy crisis. When the internet came in 1995, we had what we called e-commerce coming up. So people started buying and selling goods online. Yeah. So that means that in order for you to buy and sell, you needed to give in your bank details, your name, where you come from, probably the entire thing about you. So that means that when the e-commerce platform is working, so for instance, the receiving bank vis-a-vis the sending bank, if I'm receiving the money and you're sending the money, then you've got to show me your client's profile. Okay? This is Mr. Anthony Sebale, he comes from here and here and here, he's buying this. Yep. Your client, Mr. This and this and this, is selling this. Okay? That means that there was a lot of exchange as far as data is concerned. So part of the solution Bitcoin brought, or part of the solution crypto brought, is that all you need is just a public key and a secret key. So like I said, when you go to the ledger, all you're seeing are just numbers. In as far as accountability is concerned, all we need to do is, for instance, if we are to say, let's say the public's, if we're saying all public officers should declare their assets, here we don't need to do that. All we'll just say is let them declare their public keys. You get to a public office, declare your public key, so that we can all know that actually this is now this public officer transacting. Okay, so is data safe?
Yes,
it's safe in as far as the previous system is concerned. But then let's look at the alternative. You talked about CBDCs as the alternative that Bank of Uganda and other various other central banks are considering. Okay, this is how a CBDC actually works. So when we take the digital yuan of China, you have two kinds of accounts. You have a retail account, and then we have what we call a wholesale account. A retail account, you're not supposed to transact beyond $6,000 in a month. So if you know that your expenditure patterns are within $6,000, then you won't get a wholesale account, you'll get a retail account. Yes. So that means that actually, who issues the CBDC? The Bank of Uganda. Yes. So that means that Bank of Uganda already knows this part of the population within the 6,000. These ones are within the retail.
Yes, yes.
But it doesn't stop there. Okay. Then Bank of Uganda is not now credits your wallet or does not credit your wallet. So whenever an expenditure is made, Bank of Uganda will know. So now the question is, now Bank of Uganda issues me, no, let's not use Bank of Uganda, let's use a central bank. A central bank issues me my wallet. They know this is a retail wallet, so Victor does not, exceed this amount, much money. Again, Victor receives this much salary within every month, or this is his income. So it solves a lot of problems for the state, in as far as taxation policies are concerned. So they'll easily know. Now we don't need to tell you make your own assessment of tax. We'll just come and say, this is your assessment. Pay the tax. So now, does that alternative work in as far as data privacy is concerned? Of course not, because now these guys will get no. Now remember, a CBDC account means that whenever you go to shop and buy soda, I'll pay using that account. So there is someone in in a central bank, for instance, seated saying, Victor drinks soda every Monday, Victor eats chicken every Tuesday, he takes, so really, that's too much data. You see,
too much information.
Some people actually think that data or information is about where you come from, your date of birth. No. Actually, your real data is what chance do you prefer, how much do you spend, how much do you eat. And that is quite a lot for the state to handle.
Thank you very much, Victor. I wish we could go on, but our time is fast spent. Thank you very much for coming. Of course, I've been talking to Victor Ntagahume, who is a law student, but an enthusiast in financial technologies and cryptocurrency. Victor, your parting shots in just 30 seconds to government and to people out there that are watching.
Okay, so my parting shots are that to the central bank and to any money regulator, cryptocurrencies will save you a lot. They are here to stay. The mere fact that we are speaking about $3 trillion in the crypto space, they are here to stay. It's high time that you embrace them. To any person out there who is using, who might or may not use cryptocurrencies, the question is, should this trend actually leave you, or should you jump onto the space and then we see how actually this, this space can help us solve some of the questions. In as far as accountability is concerned, we don't have to talk about rigged elections. You vote using a blockchain. That means that we can easily, all of us are seeing. The moment you tick, we can actually see that you've ticked. So it solves a lot. Accountability issues, auditability issues, and the rest. Thank you. Thank you
very much, Victor and Joshua. Of course, we've been, on Twitter. The hashtag has been Financial Markets. We can continue with the conversations there on Twitter as well. Remember, you can catch the show every Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. My name is Anthony Sebale. Coming up next is Mr. Makubuya with UG2 Kole and other quite interesting programs you don't want to miss out on. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.